Yo, what's going on everyone? My name is Ishit and welcome back to another video. So in this video I want to talk about something. Now if you guys don't know, recently I had I had streamed Gambit, and honestly I had a lot of fun. I had so much fun that I I couldn't help but just keep playing the game, you know. I ended up streaming for 3 hours, which is crazy. I think that's the longest I've ever streamed on my YouTube channel, which is crazy, and it's all because this game is just really fun. But you know, playing the game again, you know, with a lot of things in mind, you know, since the game wasn't new to me, there's a lot of things that honestly are just big problems in the game. They're just such big problems, and I finally understand where a lot of people are coming from when they say, when they throw shade at this game. And I gotta throw some shade in this video. Now for the people, who don't want the truth and don't want to hear the truth about this game, I advise that you please just click away from the video. But for the people who want to stay and listen to what I have to say about how I and just my biggest recommendations to White Rabbit to making the game better, then please stay. I would really appreciate it. Now, if I do sound a little bit out of it, I'm actually currently sick. It seems like I'm getting sick a lot. I don't know why. I think I'm just very unfortunate. But there's nothing I can do. So yeah, but let's get right into it. So one of the biggest problems I have with the game right now currently is the lack of weapons. Now, when I first started playing the game, I didn't realize how much of a problem this was, but this is a huge ass issue in the game right now. The lack of weapons in the game is absolutely outstanding, especially when you compare it to a game like Salt and Sanctuary, which is, a game in the similar genre, a 2D Souls-like game, and I just find it amazing. Fucking Salt and Sanctuary has so many weapons and different weapon types and stuff like that, and I think it's crazy that for the most part, a lot of these weapon types, there's only one weapon in that archetype. There's only one weapon in that weapon type. I'm sorry, I said archetype. I don't know why. I'm thinking of Destiny. So for instance, for assassins, you guys get the thieves' blades. Well, there's only one dual-wielded finesse weapon in the game. And the same thing goes for Blood Knight, for one-handed axes or one-handed weapons. Same goes for the scythe if you didn't pre-order the game. Same thing goes for fucking not hammers. Hammers do have a little bit more variety as well. And same thing goes for tomes, and I find that just absolutely ridiculous that the game will launch with so lack of variety, especially since, this game is a Souls-like game, and a Souls-like game has weapon variety. Games in the Souls genre or the Souls games themselves have so much weapon variety, and, when you look at, maybe something like Bloodborne where, there might have been a lack of variety, but at least the weapons had, different modes to them and stuff like that. Those were, very complex weapons. With Death's Gambit, there's just not a large variety of weapons, and I just think that's absolutely crazy. So, I do know that with the upcoming DLC that they do plan on adding more weapons and stuff. I don't know how many, but I hope it's a lot. I really honestly hope it is a lot, because when you take into consideration that the bow, a weapon probably most people aren't even using, has what, 4 or 5 different bows in the game, is just absolutely ridiculous. I think the devs really need to work on that. I don't know how long they plan on supporting this game. Hopefully it's long enough to put the game in a way better state. But yeah, and another thing I kind of had in that same subject is boss weapons. A lot of these bosses have really awesome weapons, and like I said again with Salt and Sanctuary, in Salt and Sanctuary you gained a specific material every time you killed a boss, and you could use that material to either gain the salt in that game. I think you could use it to gain salt, or you could use it to transmute your weapons into boss weapons. And I would really like to see something like that. I had this idea where maybe there, the boss weapons had fragmented when the bosses died. Their weapons, fragmented, and now you have to go all over, the world in Death's Gambit and find their fragmented weapons. And this leads me into my next topic, a crafting system. Why do we need a crafting system? Well, I don't know. I feel like games like this should really have a crafting system. I mean, it's not mandatory. I mean, I don't think Dark Souls has a crafting system, so it's not really necessary, but it really would be kind of awesome if we had that. And like I said, to go hand in hand maybe with the whole idea I had with the boss weapons being fragmented, it would be so cool if we could, had this crafting system. We went out into the world, we grinded, explored the world, found these fragmented weapons, and we actually went out and crafted them. It would be so cool if we could actually go out, farm material, and it doesn't even have to be a complete crafting system like that. It doesn't have to be something similar to that of Monster Hunter, but it could be something similar, maybe like the transmutation system, or maybe just the whole boss weapon idea thing just is its own system alone. When you find all the fragments, you can just craft them right then and there. That would be just really, really cool. So that one's a little subjective. That one's kind of like, I wouldn't be, it's an idea, and I wouldn't be mad if it was, if the devs just didn't even acknowledge that. I wouldn't even care, but it would just be, something I would like to see. Next up, a better armor system. Okay, I had such a problem with Death's Gambit not having, a physical appearance change every time Soren equipped a new armor piece, and the reason being is because I feel like one of the best parts about a game like Salt and Sanctuary or Dark Souls or Bloodborne is seeing the character. Even I know that in those games your character is, customizable. So. And in Death's Gambit, the main character is Soren. He's his own person. But I would really like to see change happen to him. We have seen in other Souls-like games like The Surge. I think Lords of the Fallen also did it. I could be wrong. I never played Lords of the Fallen. But we've seen in those games where there is a main character, but you can still equip armor and you can still, make him look really, really badass. I would really like that for, Death's Gambit. I know it's a lot more hard work, but it would just honestly, in my opinion, make the game just so much better, so much more replayable, because maybe they added some new armors in the game, and the armors made you look like a samurai, or the armors made you look like, this really bulky knight or something like that. That would be so cool. And going again with the boss weapons thing, it'd be so cool if maybe there was, for some of the bosses, maybe they had, different armor pieces, or maybe they had their own set of armor, and maybe the devs could add in chest pieces, chest piece armor to help with just the lack of really customization in, the game. I feel like there's not a whole lot of, the whole replayability of the game is just to, play the game, beat the game, redo, rinse and repeat, which, I mean, that's for every Souls-like game, or Dark Souls game and Souls-like game, but I feel like in this game it just doesn't feel as fun, because there's nothing to really make you look like you put in a whole lot of work into the game, compared to, say something like Salt and Sanctuary, where your character goes from looking very generic to maybe now you're wearing the Sodden Knights full set now. That would be something just really cool. I hope all that made sense to kind of just summarize what I was trying to say there. Basically, I would like to see, armor make a physical appearance in game of how it makes Soren look. I would like to see, maybe them add chest pieces into the game. I would like to see maybe a lot more impact when it comes to armor, because right now, honestly, the game, armor just feels completely useless in my opinion. I feel like I don't even really need it. So it would be cool if we could see maybe like defense stats added to armor to give it a lot more, a lot more value over, just adding maybe some simple stats like strength and stuff like that. But that's just me. It's all subjective in the end, but that's just something I would like to see. And last thing but not least, this one's going to be really subjective, and this one I'm pretty sure I'd probably get cursed at because for being so how do you say, for being word. I can't think of the word off the top of my head, but I would really like to see a game mode created for Gambit based off of the idea of replayability. Now, I'm not saying that, I want this like completely separate game mode from the story. No, it would be so cool if maybe there was a new area, there was a new hidden path that you could take in the main hub area, where that will take you to, and I had this idea, what if there was like this, not endless dungeon, but what if there was this large dungeon area that had its own exclusive bosses? And this kind of goes in hand to hand with everything that I've talked about so far, where it would be so cool if there was, maybe like it was this game mode of like rogue-like mechanics, where the game strips you of all of your armor, your weapons, and gives you this maybe dinky dagger, and it tells you to basically explore this new area, this new area specific to this game mode or specific to this content. And the game says, okay, there's 5 bosses. First of all, you have to go find the bosses, you have to kill the bosses, and you have to get into the end boss, which the end boss will have, this chest at the end of it, where it'll give you this really awesome piece of loot. It'll give you this really awesome piece of loot that might help you in the game. It might help with your build. It might do this. It might do that. And I had it written down on the idea that I really had for it. And maybe if it's something that a lot of you are interested in, I could go into a little bit more detail, but I would really like to see just more things added to this game that will increase the replayability. I know with the upcoming DLC, we are getting a new story after the game ended, which I think is fine. I'm 100% okay with that, but I would like to see some more stuff added to the game to give it a lot more, to make it feel like, what am I trying to say? Well, have you guys ever played, a game? I know that there's a game, I know that in The Witcher, there was the Gwent card game. In the Gwent card game, it was basically this mini game where you went into it and it was its own whole thing. It was its own addictive thing that you can do, and it was so addictive and it was so good that later on the developer CD Projekt Red had made it its own full thing. And I would like to really see that see that from Gambit, because right now the only thing that's kind of gives this game any replayability is New Game Plus. I think there's like 5 different tiers of New Game Plus. I haven't made it that far. And then also heroic rematches, and maybe, just to replay the game, just to play a new class. Other than that, I really feel like, there's nothing to really keep me playing this game, like that's been keeping, the Dark Souls community playing that game for so many years. That's kept, the Sultan Sanctuary community kept playing that game. I've went through Sultan Sanctuary so many times on the Switch. Like I have multiple characters on my Nintendo Switch version of Sultan Sanctuary because I want to try new builds. Right now, I haven't played the game in quite, like a month or two, but I remember last time I stopped playing, I was working on my mage build. I was working on my mage character. I think I was very close to the Witch of Salt Lake or something like that, and I really want her staff. I really want her material so I can make transmute and get her staff. that's something I would really like to see in Death's Gambit, having these different builds, having this sense of replayability from just, simple mechanics. So I know this video can come off pretty confusing, but to basically summarize everything, to kind of take everything that I've said, more weapons plus boss weapons, that would be really cool. Maybe a crafting system or something, similar to a crafting system. A better armor system, because I think armor in the game just really isn't that impactful. And then maybe a game mode based off replayability. Like I said, I don't know how long the devs plan on keeping this game, plan on, for this game to be, them supporting this game. I don't know how long. For all I know, they probably want to hurry up and jump to their next project, and I'm okay with that. I really am. But honestly, Death's Gambit's not really in a good state. It's not, and I feel like any game developer, whether it be indie or non-indie, should worry about how their game's replayability and how many times a person can go through the game. Of course there's platinum hunting, trying to get all the trophies in the game. Of course there is speed running and everything that I listed before, but I would really like to see some more just kind of added to it to make the game feel a little bit more complete, because as of now, Death's Gambit doesn't feel that complete. It feels a little bit on the lacking side, and I know I'm being a little harsh, and I really hate to be harsh, especially since Alex Kubadira and Gene Canellis they're such great guys. They're nice people. I've been to their streams and I've talked to them. They're really nice guys, and I hate to like bash on their game a little bit, or right now, but I just really want to see this game just grow and become this really amazing thing that I can constantly play over and over and over again for years to come. And of course I'm eventually going to get bored, but it'd be really cool to see something where I'm playing this game maybe like 3, 4, or 5 years after launch, and I'm just playing, getting addicted to the game all over again, just because there's just so much content there to enjoy. But that's all I have to say, guys. Please let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you guys didn't like this video, please leave a dislike. If you guys liked this video, leave a like. And if there's any way you guys want to maybe share this with the devs, that would be really awesome. I would definitely appreciate that. But with that being said, guys, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And like always, my name is Ishiti, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.